All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are going to cut right through the absolute mountain of noise out there, cure your framework fatigue, and map out exactly how to become a highly hireable developer in 2026. If you've been feeling totally overwhelmed by all the new technologies dropping every single week, you are definitely in the right place.
So, let's just tackle the giant elephant in the room right off the bat, because I know it's got basically every beginner panicking right now. Has AI made learning to code completely pointless? I mean, everywhere you look, people are saying software engineering is dead, or that you just need to prompt an AI now. But is that actually the reality on the ground?
Well, the reality is that companies still desperately need developers. As long as there are problems to solve, we're going to need software. But the role itself has drastically shifted. You're no longer just a syntax memorizer, you really have to be a problem solver. It used to be all about how fast you could type out boilerplate code. Now, it's about how well you actually understand the architecture.
Okay, here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover the AI elephant, picking your foundational language, escaping the tutorial hell trap, using AI as your coding assistant, and finally, building projects to actually prove your skills.
Starting right off with Section 1, the AI elephant. Why coding isn't dead, but the job has absolutely changed.
So here's the deal. AI hasn't killed coding, it's just completely rewritten the definition of what a valuable developer looks like. In 2026, you are essentially the director of the AI. That means you need what's called systems thinking. You have to know exactly where that AI-generated code should go, how it impacts the larger application, and how data actually flows through your system. Because sure, an AI can generate a function, but you are the one who has to build the scalable app.
And to put that into perspective, recent reports show that using AI coding assistants can actually speed up your task completion by roughly 55%. That is huge. Companies don't want to replace you, they want to make you a 55% faster, incredibly effective problem solver.
Moving on to Section 2. Pick your foundational language. Seriously, we need to stop trying to learn everything all at once.
Because you have to understand those underlying systems we just talked about, you really just need to pick one foundational lane. And your choice is actually pretty straightforward. Go with Python if you want to build AI models, work with data science, or automate tasks. It is literally the lingua franca of machine learning right now. On the flip side, choose JavaScript and TypeScript if you want to build interactive web apps and full-stack products. Pick your lane and just block out all the other noise for now.
Need a little motivation? Right now, Python developers in the US are pulling in a median salary of over $120,000, and that is heavily driven by this massive explosion in AI and data demands. The market for deep, foundational skills is incredibly healthy, if you focus.
But how you learn this language is a total game changer today. Contrast this with the old days, right? The old way was trying to memorize every single piece of syntax before you even started building. The 2026 way is learning on demand. Look, no professional developer knows a language completely anymore. You literally only need to learn exactly what you need to solve the specific problem sitting right in front of you.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, Escape the Tutorial Hell Trap. This is all about how to learn effectively in 2026.
There's a very specific step-by-step roadmap you gotta follow here. You absolutely must pass Phase 1, which is building unshakable foundational concepts like variables, loops, and data structures before you ever even think about touching Phase 2, those shiny new frameworks like React or PyTorch. And only after you've got those down do you move to Phase 3, integrating AI APIs and deploying your work to the world.
If you don't follow those phases, you fall straight into these traps. These are the classic beginner mistakes that keep people completely stuck in what we call tutorial hell. Passively binge-watching videos without ever writing a line of code, blindly copying without understanding, or, and this is the biggest one by far, waiting until you feel ready to build. Spoiler alert, you are never, ever going to feel 100% ready. If you wait for that feeling, you'll literally be waiting until 2036.
So how do you break out? The modern fix requires you to shift from studying random, isolated topics to actually solving real problems. Instead of asking, what is a loop, you should be asking, how do I build a login system? Because figuring out that login system is naturally going to teach you variables, loops, and databases along the way. It gives the code actual, real-world context.
All right, Section 4, AI as your coding assistant. How to use it as a pair programmer, and definitely not as a crutch.
So how do we safely integrate tools like Claude or ChatGPT without totally ruining your progress? You have to treat AI exactly like a GPS in your car. It is an incredible navigational tool, for sure. But the moment the GPS messes up, or you hit a weird detour, or a line of code breaks, you are going to be completely helpless if you don't know the fundamentals beneath the code. You have to know how the roads actually work.
So, what does doing it right look like? Well, to actually grow as a developer, you use AI to ask why a certain piece of code completely failed. You ask it to compare two different solutions and explain the trade-offs to you. You use it to explain some messy chunk of code you stumbled across online. When you use AI as a personalized 24/7 tutor, it dramatically accelerates your learning. On the flip side, ineffective use is pretty much the exact opposite. If your whole workflow relies on blindly copying and pasting code without a second thought, you are actively robbing your brain of the struggle that's actually required to learn. If you let the AI do all the initial thinking, you become totally replaceable. Don't avoid the struggle, guys. The struggle is literally where the learning happens.
Finally, we reach Section 5. Build projects to prove skills. Because having the knowledge in your head just isn't enough anymore. You need proof.
In a world where an AI can easily generate basic boilerplate code, a portfolio of real projects is the ultimate proof of your problem-solving ability. This brings me to absolutely my favorite piece of advice for 2026. Build things that embarrass you. Like we said, you aren't supposed to feel ready. Start building ugly, simple, buggy projects early on. Because the habit of shipping a messy, real project will always be trying to polish a brilliant idea that doesn't even exist yet.
And hey, you do not need to invent the next billion-dollar startup to impress an employer. Building simple, messy projects, like a daily habit tracker, a personal budgeting app, or even just a tiny browser game, proves so much. It proves you can turn an idea into reality, that you can hunt down and fix your own bugs, and that you can learn independently. That is exactly what hiring managers are begging for right now.
The tools to learn have literally never been easier to access, and the roadmap has never been this crystal clear. AI hasn't closed the door on developers, it has just changed the lock. So I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought. What real-world problem are you going to sit down and solve today? Start building, start breaking things, and take that first step.
Technology changes every year, but learning how to think never goes out of date. If you want to understand technology instead of just using it, subscribe to Think with Hodosh J.